Welcome. Very excited to be here. I represent something called Nebraska Innovation Studio, which is a makerspace we're creating here on Innovation Campus. You'll have the opportunity to tour this at 5:30 to 7 tonight. It's just across the building on the other side of the room. Let me explain a little bit about that. First of all, I'm a rural community guy. I grew up in a little town called Ravenna, Nebraska. My dad owned a hardware store. It was probably the building in town that, every 3 days the whole town cycled through or something like that. It was really a hub for that town. Our job was basically to sell nuts and bolts to farmers because something broke and it needed to be fixed. They're building a project, they need some material for that. I'm a real believer in rural communities. My new job is that I make robots. I put this up here because my making of robots was really born in that little community. I think Nebraska and rural communities are full of makers, and it's a latent ability that we are largely ignoring, and we need to do a better job of exploiting. I think Silicon Valley is going to always win at mobile apps and online banking, and New York will be the investment banking center for a long time, but Nebraskans make things. Rural communities make things, and that's where we can become world leaders very quickly. So let me tell you about this concept of makerspaces. Makerspaces are areas where people get together to make things, and that's really the end of it. A lot of ladies get together in the church basement to quilt. That's one version of a makerspace. The way I describe makerspaces are they're like a rec center. A lot of you probably belong to some kind of rec center because you don't have this kind of equipment at home and you want to become more fit. You don't have an exercise bike, you don't have a gymnasium, you don't have a swimming pool, so you pay a fee every month to get access to this. The same is true for making things. You may not have all the equipment you need to make things, but you can pay a small fee to have access to that through a makerspace. Lots of important things happen in makerspaces. First of all, you connect with other people who are interested in making and other people who have diverse interests in making. It's not just ladies who make quilts. They should connect with other people who make different things, artists or people who have new product ideas. People can learn new skills in makerspaces, skills that are important today. Our makerspace will have laser cutters and 3D printers and all kinds of computer-controlled equipment. Rural communities can support these things, and they can educate the people of the community in the use of these things. Makerspaces are frequently the home of great entrepreneurship. I can list off several things that were invented in makerspaces. Physical products, again, where rural communities can really make a contribution, and I think they can be the hub of entrepreneurship. I guess one example, I have a friend from my hometown who makes sheds that you put over the pump for your irrigation system. He just welds together a roof and a little structure and he makes sheds. He makes a few of those for some family and neighbors. But that could be a business with just a little bit more encouragement. And he needs a makerspace. And again, I say it fits Nebraska culture and it fits rural culture. I always point to vice grips in Nebraska. Center pivot irrigation, there's a long story of hardware-based companies and innovations that, vice grips were invented 85, 90 years ago, and they're still making a huge impact today. I used one in the last 24 hours. So when you bring people together like this, magic can happen. So let me get very specific. This is the makerspace you can tour next door, and we're designing this very specifically so it can become a hub to support other makerspaces. We're trying to make a very diverse group. We're trying to get a diversity of ideas into the space. We're trying to get a density, everybody in the same space. We're trying to design the architecture so people can make connections here. You can see the big common bench area and common work area in the middle, but you can also see a great diversity from art to metalworking and woodworking, electronics, and digital fabrication like 3D printers and laser cutters. Now, I started with a slide from Ravenna. I'll end it with a slide from Ravenna. This is the Carnegie Library in my hometown of Ravenna, Nebraska. Not very ADA compliant. They're just starting to have talks about building a new library. Very important. This is what they should do. But I'm trying to tell them they should not build just one building with books. This is a building with some books in it. Part of it should be set aside as a makerspace. It should have 3D printers and laser cutters. It should have community involvement. You should have meetings there as people come together and build things. This fits the culture of those people that came in and out of that hardware store, and this is where they can make a big impact. I want to litter the sky or darken the sky with makerspaces across Nebraska. Ravenna can't do everything itself, but the makerspace here at the University of Nebraska, for example, could be a hub, and there could be several spokes across the state of Nebraska. One of the strikes against rural communities is they lack the density required. This is the theory about why cities exist, to create innovation. If you're next to everyone else and you're mixing with everyone else, you can lead to more innovation. We need to connect makerspaces together in different communities to make an artificial density of these ideas. I think they can make a very, very big impact, and I hope you'll all stop across the hallway and take a tour of what we're trying to accomplish here. And please come up and talk to me. I want to talk to people about makerspaces. I want to talk the city of Ravenna into building a new makerspace there and help those people become better at what they're already good at. So thank you.